Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. Today is release day for our February House of the Month. So if you're new to my channel, I like to do monthly series for quilting and cross stitch. Last year we did a truck of the month series. They were really cute. I encourage you to go back and check those out. Those are still available in my shop and you can see some of the videos here on YouTube as well. And this year we are doing a House of the Month block. And so, or I shouldn't say block because some of them are cross stitches. So a House of the Month series. These are so cute and today is the release date for the February house. January is already released. The House of the Month series is releasing on the 15th of each month prior to the upcoming month. So the January house released December 15th and today we are releasing the February house. So let's go ahead and start off with our Quilty house. This one was a lot of fun to do. Now I will say there are some tiny pieces in here. There are quite a few 1.5 inch half square triangles in the heart quilt next to the house. They are not hard, but they are a lot of little pieces coming together with a lot of seams that have to line up. My best tip for that is to use some Mary Ellen's Best Press on your fabrics before you cut them out, or you could starch your fabrics, whichever method you prefer, but that's really going to help those blocks keep their shape and not stretch or distort when you're trying to put them together. The little mini heart quilt finishes at 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So it is really cute, but it is a smaller quilt. So those are my tips on working with that. Here is the fabric line that I used for the Quilty house. This is called Sophie by Brenda Riddle, and it's actually been in my stash for quite a while. And I just want to show you some of these prints because they are so cute. This little background print is adorable, probably one of my all-time favorite prints. Of course, there were some really cute ginghams in there, and then just some beautiful florals as well. And I love the pink tones in this. They're almost more, some of my scraps, they're almost more of a raspberry pink, which I love. And then it had this really nice neutral brownish or taupey kind of gray color. So here was my palette. These are of course not all of the fabrics in that line. I bought these half-yard bundles quite a while ago and they've just been sitting in my stash waiting to be used, and I really felt like this was kind of a perfect project for them, and I really love how it turned out. The house itself is a cute little kind of cottagey style house. Of course it has a little heart up there on top, and then a cute little cottage door with a window and some little curtains. Of course it has the February word on the bottom. I went with that kind of medium pink floral for all of those. So normally these blocks are pretty beginner friendly. I try and keep them fun and easy to put together since you're doing one every month. This particular one did end up with a lot of little pieces, and so if you've never quilted before, you might want to go back and just watch some of my Sew With Me series blocks here on YouTube. I also have a How to Quilt e-course on go.confessionsofahomeschooler.com that you can take. It's just a super beginner friendly quilting class that goes through everything you need to know to make your first quilt. And once you have most of those basic techniques down, a quilt like this is definitely in your wheelhouse. But just right off the bat, this might not be the best quilt to tackle if it's your all-time first one. Here is what the backing looks like, and of course I made sure to add a cute little label as well. These are labels that I just store in my stash, and then whenever I'm making a project I can grab one out and add it to my project. Now if you know me at all, you know I'm a sucker for gingham binding, so I did go ahead and use that raspberry gingham print for the binding. I think it is just so cute and it frames this quilt so nicely. I also think it would be really cute with a green or even maybe that taupe binding as well. Either one of those I think would look great, or even a red. So these projects I think are so much fun because they're great scrap busters. You don't need a whole lot of fabric. For most of them you're looking at about a half a yard for your backing or background fabric, and then really a few fat eighths for the project itself. And you can definitely find those if you have a little bit of a stash build up. You can probably come up with fabric without even having to go get anything new. So that is the Quilty house of the month. Let's take a look at the Stitchy house of the month. So here is the February Stitchy house of the month, and I've just swapped it out on my little paddle here, and I showed this last time for the January I believe, but I just put a couple of magnets on there. I put a couple of washers on the back of my stitched piece, and then I can just swap these out every month and I don't have to buy a different little paddle or decoration for each month. That also makes them really easy to store because I can just store these flat in a box and just pull out every month as it comes. So here it is up close so you can take a look at it. We have some really cute little hearts in there, an adorable cottage, and then a cute little quilt hanging on the fence. Now if you missed my first video for January, each of the House of the Month patterns are going to feature a cute little house, something a little different each month, and then they all have a quilt either hanging on a fence, or maybe in the Quilty version they're hanging on some poles, or sometimes they're hanging on the side of the house. So it's just going to be a lot of fun, and I just thought it would be really cool to incorporate the quilting aspect into all of the patterns. I do have a video on finishing this. This was in one of our Vlogmas episodes, and I will link it here, or I will link it below the video as well. I just used some cute little 1/4-inch rickrack around the edge, and then on the fabric, let me see if I can give you a closer up version of that fabric. Look how cute that is. That is a print from a Christmas line from Poppy Cotton that came out this past year. I think it's called Snuggle Up Buttercup, but I'll make sure and I'll put it right here on the screen. But isn't that cute with those little trees and trucks? And you know I'm a sucker for the trucks with the trees in the back. So I thought it was perfect, and the pinks actually went really well with my floss. Now I did use all DMC floss on here. Of course, it's all listed in the pattern. I did stick with DMC for this whole series because I just want it to be really accessible for you guys, but you can definitely make your own substitutions. I know some people prefer Orifloss or Cosmo or even hand-dyed floss, so feel free to use whatever you like. The fabric on this one is Beautiful Beige by Quillt, and I did stitch all mine on 14 count Aida, and I like this little beige color. I think it really makes some of the white features pop. I do have that border around all of them, and so if you wanted to put these all on a pillow or something, you can just use this border to divide your next piece and put your next piece right next to it, and you can stitch all 12 of the houses on one and then make a pillow or a wall hanging when you're done. If you haven't done any of my cross stitch patterns before, they are all in full color. That's easier for me to see and read, and they're also full 8.5 by 10 sheets. So this pattern takes up almost the entire sheet of an 8.5 by 11 paper. It also has, of course, the floss chart on the very bottom of it, but it's still really good size and very easy to see. So both of those patterns are available in my store, releasing today. I hope you guys enjoy them. I will make sure to put a link where you can get them below this video. You can also go to store.confessionsofahomeschooler.com, and if you just search for February house, both patterns should pull up for you. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you are enjoying our House of the Month patterns. If you are stitching them or sewing them, make sure to share them on social media. You can use hashtag Quilty House of the Month, and I would love to see your versions, your color combinations, and how you are doing with these projects. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. My husband's making a latte or something, and he's steaming the milk, and it's like so loud. Hey, if you could, are you almost done with your coffee? This color, what is it called? Like Weeks or Color Dye Works or Weeks Dye Works? I don't know.